Hi, I'm Adam Halberg. I'm the culinary director and executive chefs for the Barcelona restaurants in Connecticut. I have a bunch of fantastic ingredients here today from theingredientfinder.com. I'm going to prepare some stuffed piquillo peppers. They're going to be stuffed with tuna and artichokes. The reason why I'm always excited about using ingredients like this is the Spanish have a tradition that goes back generations of fantastic preserved, pickled, and conserved products, vegetables, tuna, seafood, anchovies, snails, all sorts of different things which they pack into a can, and you get a remarkable level of quality that you just don't find in the typical American grocery store. In this case, I'm dealing with products from theingredientfinder.com that are very minimally processed. These tomatoes simply fried with a little bit of olive oil. That's it. Barely a touch of salt in them. There's no preservatives, there's no chemicals that are being added to these. Tuna, it's not dried out like an albacore tuna, white tuna that you're going to find in the grocery store. This is something which you can pull right out of the can. It's very, very succulent. Piquillo peppers roasted over wood. They're packed simply in safflower oil, so all you taste is the peppers themselves and the smoke of the grill. Having these products ready to go saves me worlds on time and makes this a great recipe for you to make at home. Piquillo peppers traditionally can be stuffed with all sorts of different ingredients. People stuff them with rice and braised meat. Other people stuff them with bacalao or salt cod, sometimes pureed into a mousse with potatoes. In this case, we're going to stuff these with bonito tuna, artichokes, and a little bit of parsley. I'm going to pour the contents of this tuna with the oil. The oil has a lot of great flavor in it. It's taken on the flavor of the tuna. I'm going to break up the tuna just a little bit lightly with the fork. I don't want to break those beautiful flakes up completely, just enough to get them to separate from each other. I'm going to add some of these artichokes. These are not like Italian artichokes where all you can taste is pickle. These you actually taste the artichokes themselves. They're very, very delicate. You can see how easily they just pull apart in my hands. I'm going to add to one small can of that bonito tuna, I'm going to add about 5 or 6 of these small artichokes. And they're just packed in water. There's no extra oil or no extra anything on here. I'm going to pack a few artichokes in there, and again, just press those into the tuna to let them incorporate. That way every bite that I get is a little bit of tuna and a little bit of artichoke to it. To this, just in order to brighten it up, add a little bit of freshness, I like to add a little bit of whole flat leaf parsley. I'll pick a couple of nice bunches of whole leaves and give them once through with a knife. You don't have to be able to chop them tiny, tiny. Just adding a little bit of a fresh flavor note right in with the artichokes and the tuna. And then just to give it a little bit of richness, a little bit of thickness on your palate, it's always nice to have some good olive oil. At Barcelona restaurants, we're always hunting down the best olive oils from around Spain. This one is particularly nice. From Catalonia, it's called Targomar. It's mostly arbequina olive oil, has a little bit of verdil, which is a little black grape, adds a little bit of balance, thickens the oil a little bit. Going to add this, basically dressing the tuna and the artichokes with a little bit of this olive oil. Some of this is going to even seep out of the piquillo peppers when we're done and just enrichen the whole dish itself. And I just want to taste it to find out how much salt it needs. Obviously, when you're dealing with fresh products, when you're dealing with tuna, when you're dealing with different artichokes, they'll have different levels of salinity. None of these things are really heavily salted the way you would find in a typical grocery store. So I'm going to add a pinch of salt. I'm just looking to bring the flavors out and bring them together. Again, a quick mix and another taste to make sure that my balance is where I want it to be. And we're ready to start stuffing our peppers. Piquillo peppers are known throughout Spain as being the great stuffing pepper. Even after they've been cooked, peeled, roasted over a fire, you can see these nice dark marks on the piquillo peppers. That's from them roasting over the fires themselves. But what's great about them is that the flesh of the piquillo pepper is so sturdy that they're fantastic for stuffing. You can stuff these peppers without them really breaking apart at all. So these piquillo peppers, fantastic. Found them on theingredientfinder.com. We're going to stuff with this tuna and artichoke mixture. And you'll see how easy this is, just taking a spoon. I usually start with a small bit because of the shape of the pepper. You want to start with a small little bit, which you can then push down into that bottom point of the pepper. And then with the rest of the mouth of the pepper open, fill it up the rest of the way. You don't want to overstuff them, but you want them really fully stuffed. So you get that nice thick piece. This is a perfect tapa. You have one of these per person, 2 of them per person with a little bit of sauce, and it's beautiful. When I have them all lined out here in a spiral, the only thing that I'm going to add here is, again, a little bit of those fire roasted tomatoes. And I'm just going to spoon a little bit of this nice pureed tomato sauce over my peppers. And that's going to help make sure that my peppers and tuna don't dry out at all. The other thing that I'm going to use to help me with that, this good olive oil, I'm just going to drizzle it right over the top. The only thing that I want to add at the end, and this is completely up to you depending on how spicy you like your dishes, I'm going to take 1 chili flake, 1 chili pepper, and just break it up into its flakes, sprinkle it on top, and I'm ready to bake this in the oven. I'm going to bake this at about 350 degrees for about a half an hour or so, just again to let the flavors of the tomatoes, the peppers, the tuna, the artichokes all cook together, and then we pull it out and it's done. Really, this is much less about cooking than taking good ingredients, assembling them, and putting them together so that they can make friends with each other.